All Things Black with Garland and Calvin present Fanboys. Fanboys is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Now, here are your hosts, Garland and Calvin.
All Things Black presents Fanboys.
Boop, 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 boop.
I'm Calvin. The guy over there that's no longer holding the mic in his hand
They didn't want me to hold the mic, y'all.
is Garland. I mean, it wasn't that I didn't want you to hold it, but you was looking like a contestant on Star Search and not the judge. You was looking like an American Idol contestant holding. I needed you to look like Simon Cowell. That was utterly ridiculous.
Everybody, I was holding the mic for the 50th anniversary. I was doing it all for the culture. And he was like, look, yo, I got to stand. I'm going to let you get this little stand for a little piece of change. And, you are not in the funky 4 + 1 more or the fearless 5. You need to put down the mic. So here I am, people. I'm not holding the mic today.
Yeah, it was almost at a pause moment just now because I almost imitated you holding the mic, and I was just whoa. As I was thinking about how that would look on camera, I was like, wait a minute, pause. He ain't look like that. Just for y'all, for y'all to know, he was holding the mic down here, and it was kind of like he wasn't, so just. Almost a pause moment. Hey, for everybody, you can catch us. This will be on all the podcast platforms. It's live on YouTube right now, so you can also watch us on Spotify. You'll get to see our beautiful faces, but if not,
it on Spotify, it looks good.
Exactly, you get to see our beautiful faces. But if not, you can just listen to the podcast on all the other platforms. How things going, Garland? Other than your newfound stand.
Yeah, other than that, things are great, man. We're going through, I don't even call it, it's like a minor little heat thing. And the rest of the country, I wanted to call it a heat wave because the rest of the country is melting. We just got a little piece of that. Yesterday, I think it was 180, and maybe the day before that, 120. Today is not supposed to be too bad. But yeah, man, just making it through that. And last night, went to a nice event for my wife's godmother's retiring from her job, and we had a great event.
Right. I remember.
Yeah. And so that was nice, and so just chilling, looking forward to a great weekend. Trying to figure out what I'm gonna do after I finish this. What about yourself?
Hey, everything's going well. I got the in-laws coming over today, so I'm gonna be grilling out and hanging out with them. Yeah, the in-laws came over. They trumped the landlord this weekend, and I'm gonna be in trouble because the rent is due. It's almost the end of the month, so the rent is due. So one day the landlord is gonna come over looking for his money, So
he's like, "Where you live at, John Quill?" Oops, I'm sorry, I mean to put that out there, y'all. I ain't get the number though.
Look at that. He didn't got. Ain't no. Listen, this is from what was the show on HBO with the police officers, and they want John Quill locking each other up. The guy from Walking Dead. No, not The Wire. Yeah, we own the city, so they can come down here if they want to. Can come down, John Quill. This ain't for the meek of heart. this Park Heights, y'all. This ain't for the meek of heart.
I forgot. I'm like, whoa, I grew up around here. My favorite Chinese spot is not too far from your house. It ain't there no more. But I'm like, all right, it's definitely a little bit more sketchier than it was when I was growing up.
We walk outside ready. Before we get outside, we do the Malcolm X look out the window, which, by the way, is not a real photo. It was kind of a made-up photo where he was looking out the window and holding the gun. Yeah, that's a made-up photo.
It was a staged photo.
I don't even think it was Malcolm X. I think not a stage photo. So someone actually just made that photo up. Wow. I gotta look into it more.
And they put a little
somebody kind of made that photo up. Now they do show it in the Malcolm X movie with Denzel Washington doing it, but the history of it, it's not a real photo. Somebody kind of just made that photo up.
Poster when I was in college, because it was
it's a great photo.
So I either had that one or I had another Malcolm X poster right next to my Women Love Beer poster. So yeah.
Women love what?
Yeah, it was a poster of like a half-naked woman with a beer. I'm trying to remember what the quote was, but yeah. That I had a couple posters on my wall. Poster of Prince, Malcolm X, this half naked woman drinking a beer, and might have been something else. I can't remember.
I had Crush Groove, which is my favorite movie in the world. I
Mm-hmm.
had a Michael Jackson Human Nature poster, which he had on the yellow vest and the all white under it. And I had a it wasn't a Janet Jack Apollonia. I had an Apollonia poster.
Yeah, I
Purple
remember the
Rain.
Avalon, like she's up against a tree or
Yep,
something.
that's it. Purple
Yeah,
Rain, by the
yeah.
way, is my
Mm-hmm.
second favorite movie of all time.
We're gonna
And
have to
just
talk about favorite
fun
movies now.
fact.
We're bringing it up.
Oh, you know what? Then let me then because I got him. All right, I'm a
All right,
chill
we're
on
gonna
that
have
because
to
we might have to do that.
chill on it. But yeah, I'm old enough to say I saw Purple Rain at Ricestown Road Plaza, and so
I saw
that's
that.
when they had the double theater at where the Popeyes is.
I saw it at the new
Oh my lord!
down. No. I didn't see it at the new. I saw it at the town.
The town is
Um,
on Park Avenue. I know where the
that's
town
where
is.
Park Avenue. We were on Park Avenue. I saw it at the town.
Uh,
I saw it. Yep, I saw it at the town. Me and my
that's some
dad.
old, yeah, that's some old stuff, y'all. They used to have movie theaters downtown. You had the Howard, you had the town,
The
you had
new,
the
the
Mayfair, the new,
Hippodrome,
the
the
Hippodrome.
Mayfair. Yep, all of them.
Yeah, I
Then you
saw.
had the on
Mhm,
Greenmount Avenue. You had the Boulevard. I think that was called the Boulevard on the
right.
corner of Greenmount and
Yes.
33rd. That's where I saw
Yeah.
ET. I saw ET at the
And you
Boulevard.
and you live not too far from where I think NBA is there. It used to be a theater called the Crest, and that was on
Now
Ricestown Road.
that's I
Remember
did.
when
I
they had the
wasn't.
99-cent theaters?
I wasn't a West Side boy. So they did have this was more high school, so this was more late '90s. They did have the Liberty theaters, and every now and then on Friday nights you could pay
Yeah,
$2 and you could go to all the different theaters inside of
I
it.
remember that as well.
Um, I also went to the Apollo, which is down on Eden Street.
Yes.
I went to the Apollo. I'm an East Side boy, so
Yeah.
wasn't a West Side boy. So the Crest, I never even actually never
You
even
never
heard of.
impressed. Yeah, I saw Game of Death in Chinese Connection at the Hippodrome. Yeah.
I saw all that at the Apollo. Coffee. Um, oh, It's Alive. Remember the scary movie It's Alive
Yeah,
about the
it's
baby? I saw
alive. Yeah, that's some
it.
crazy stuff. That's some crazy stuff.
Hey
But let's
man,
go
what
ahead
we
and jump
got
into
going
it.
on today?
We're gonna talk some baseball. First place O's, big win last night. We're gonna talk a little bit about Bronny James and some good news about him and kind of spec future and his dad's future. In the NBA, Jaylen Brown got a bag, and so we're going to talk a little bit about that. The sale of the Hornets finally went through for Michael Jordan, and we're going to talk about the impact of that, and some top former players who became coaches and GMs. We're going to talk a little NFL. Justin Herbert, he got a bag as well last week, and so tap on that. And the running backs, your boy Saquon Barkley said, "I'd rather take some money instead of holding out." And so we're going to talk about the impact of that. Little brother Jim Harbaugh might be in some trouble. He's facing a 4-game ban, and we're going to tap on that. And then we're going to end with your favorite segment in sports talk. And so let's go ahead and open up with the first place Orioles. That's what we're going to do. As long as they're in first place, we opening with the O's. And so I know a lot of people ain't into baseball talk. I know some of Fanboys Nation, they kind of like speed ahead doing baseball talk. But yeah,
What?
I've heard from some people about, I ain't going to say no.
It's the Oriole. Blasphemy. They better not
I
be
know.
Baltimoreans. They can be Yankee fans or
They
Red
not,
Sox
but
fans.
they married into Baltimore, so they're going to have to learn how to appreciate it.
Blasphemy.
So the first place Baltimore Orioles opened a 3-game homestand versus the last place Yankees with a 1-0 win on an Anthony
The last
Santander.
place Yankees. The
Yes, the
last
last place
place.
Yankees. I'll say that again. Let me read that line again. The Baltimore Orioles opened a 3-game homestand versus the last place Yankees with a 1-0 win on the Anthony Santander walk-off home run in the ninth inning last night. The O's went 4-3 on a 7-game road trip versus the Rays and the Phillies. During the road trip, the offense struggled, and the bullpen couldn't hold leads in the eighth and the ninth innings. Also, the injury bug has showed up a little bit. We got Cedric, the entertainer Mullins, and Aaron Hicks both on a 10-day IL. And so, with Shohei Ohtani off of the trade market, and he's just showing out. As a matter of fact, they winning the opposite of what everybody was hoping the Angels would do. And I mean, he's been putting up unicorn numbers. He pitched a one hitter complete game in one half of a double hitter, and then came back in the second one and hit 2 home runs.
Didn't he hit one home run in the one he pitched the one hitter? I
He
think he
didn't.
hit three. I
Did
think
he
he
hit
hit
three?
three. Yeah, I
I
think
thought
he
he
hit
just
three
hit
total.
two in the second game.
I thought he hit one in the first game. I could be wrong, but I think he hit one in the first game and two.
Possibly then.
The boy is he's a if he retired right now, he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of
Easily.
Famer. And so with Shohei Ohtani off of the trade market, where is the O's biggest need is for the pennant run? Is it pitching or is it hitting?
So in my opinion, it has to be pitching. Like, there's always going to be nights where you aren't going to score a lot of runs. But if you notice, the Orioles win a lot of close games, but they also lose some close games. You mentioned giving up the lead in the eighth and ninth inning. That
Yeah.
second game in Philadelphia, they absolutely should have won that game. They were down to 2 outs, game tied. Then Philly in the bottom of the ninth game, Philly ties the game, and then they go up and win the game. They should have won that game. So they're going to need pitching. Now the question is it the starter you're looking for? Is it the middle reliever you're looking for? Because you got your closer, but even some nights he's going to have to take a rest, as we saw in Philadelphia. And they still got to win. So where do you need the pitching? I'm all for starters to take you as deep as they can. But you still want some middle relievers to kind of hold the lead, because that's where the Orioles seem to be
That's where they
lacking.
struggle.
They get to these middle relievers, and the middle relievers aren't horrible, but they're giving up 1 and 2 runs, and the Orioles are always in so many close games that those 1 or 2 runs become the difference between winning and losing. So I think they need to get some middle relievers, but I know that they were eyeing some starters out there, but we'll see what happened. They did pick up the guy, the Japanese guy from
Fuji
yeah,
from
they
the
did,
A's.
and he at his first outing he didn't do too bad, but he
Yeah,
did well his
he
second
did
outing. He
well the
did pretty
last,
well.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he did well up in Philly. Um, I agree with you. I don't know where they would put another bat, and to get another big bat, they're going to have to give up some good young assets, which I really don't think they have a good problem in the next season or
They
two,
do.
because they have a glut of players, and they're going to have to really make decisions on moving these young players up. If they needed a bat, I wouldn't want them to maybe go down to the farm and bring up a bat. I think
Hmm.
that could suffice, because they don't have a, they struggle sometimes with the runs, but when they get hot, they can rake. I think the pitching is a major concern. I'm surprised. Well, not surprised, but I'm encouraged by the performance of Grayson Rodriguez. Ever since he's
Yeah.
come back up from Norfolk, man, he's been almost unhittable in some aspects. We saw him when we went to the Dodgers game
Hmm.
over a week or two ago, and he pitched very well in that game. It was unfortunate that the bullpen faltered and gave up the lead. He pitched well up in Philly. No, yeah, he pitched in Philly, did he not? Or did he pitch
No,
in
he pitched
Tampa?
last night.
He pitched last
Uh,
night, but I think he pitched in
did
Tampa.
he pitch
And
in?
yeah, he
He pitched
pitched
in
in.
Tampa.
Yeah, he pitched in Tampa, and then he pitched last night, and so did very well last night as well. And so I think maybe we're coming around in the starting. I think that we need relievers. I think that in the seventh, eighth, and ninth, when we have those one run leads, we really need somebody that can shut the door. I don't know if I trust Cano anymore. Although
Yeah.
he pitched last night and it took this diving catch by Santander. I'm just imagining if that got by him, man, they would have run Cano out of the city. And so Bautista, he's definite. He's the closer. You're not going to get anything off of him. And so yeah, I think something late in games could really help them. I think it's just a thing of what did you give up to get it. I think Mike Elias said the other day, we don't want to just be foolish because we're independent race. We're leading the division, but that doesn't mean that we should really forfeit our future assets just because we want to get a rental. To
Right.
me, to get someone who has years on them that you can control for at least another season or two, you're going to have to give up some good prospects, and maybe you just don't. And so we'll see. Maybe they can pick someone up who's been DFA'd, and that person can come here and give us something for a half a season or so, or the remaining of the race. But with the trade deadline coming up on August the 1st, something's going to happen soon.
Yeah, and you're right about the DFA. That's what happened with Aaron Hicks, and it came right in time because
Right.
that's when Mullins gone down.
Right.
So yeah, it happened right in time. And yeah, so I learned from you because remember last year I was like, let's go for it, let's do it right now. You were like, nah, they gotta hold out, and you're right. And they're trending ahead of schedule now. And one of the reasons why I don't think they need another bat is because these young guys, them bats will come around. They're still young guys. They're inexperienced. These bats will start coming around. They'll start getting more hits in clutch situations. I mean, just look at Gunner right now. Like, good gracious, man. Gunner, we were talking about sending Gunner back down
Right.
beginning of the
Talking about
season.
sending Gunner
You
back
know, them
down.
them bats will come around with these young guys,
Mhm.
but it's them arms. And the Orioles have always had a problem getting them arms in there, and
Right.
that's what we need.
Yeah. Now, Calvin and I, we went to the Dodgers. We talked about this last week, the Dodgers Orioles game, the opening game of that series last week. And man, we had a great time. And we had some great beer while we were there. I think we had some Blue Moons and what have you. And so, that's almost as commercial as you can get. And so we wanted to talk about Calvin's a beer snob, and so am I. And so
I'm
we
not
wanted to. You're
that
not
much of
snob.
a snob.
Okay, well,
Nah,
I'll take the title. I'm a beer snob.
I'm a
But
wine snob.
yeah, he's a wine here, y'all. He's at the vineyards all the time. They got it. They know him when he comes in. They got the boxes waiting for him. Like, sir, here's your boxes. Him and his wife, when they come in, the boxes are waiting. For me, I get my box of wine from the liquor store, and so, but I'm a little.
Who
But I
drinks
prefer.
box wine? Oh.
I do. Y'all,
Boxed wine.
if you're not watching this on video, I raise my hand. Yeah,
Uh,
I drink box wine. I'm not
my.
ashamed of it either.
Katina would lose her mind. We'd die if it came out of a cardboard
Yeah.
box. I'm just
Yeah.
playing, man.
Calvin's a sommelier,
I'm
so
just playing. I
he's
actually
got it.
have a certificate. I actually, we went to a wine class some years ago, and I have a certificate. And I mean, it's phony because it takes years and years and
Yeah.
years to be
That's,
a sommelier, but it does say
mhm.
on there junior sommelier. So I'm just saying.
Junior
I'm just
sommelier.
saying.
That needs to be the title of today's episode. Junior sommelier. like like a player from the
I'm,
Dominican Republic, a
yeah,
shortstop. Now
I'm.
starting at Junior Samaye.
I'm and again for the record, I'm nowhere near sommelier, like nowhere in there. And I'm being a wine snob is just me buying different wines and just liking some and not like so don't get y'all those of you that are real wine snobs, don't get your little panties in the butt, I don't really,
Junior
I
Samaye.
basically I drink more wine than Garland, so that makes me the wine snob of the crew.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna run through quick because we're in baseball season. Our top 5 beers of
Yes,
all
yes.
time. And so Calvin, you go first. Your top
Now,
5 beers of all time.
real quick question.
Yes.
I have a beer drink that I like.
Okay, that's
Can
fine.
I include that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So let me start. Number 5 is a beer that I did get at a game that was earlier the week than we went. We went on a Monday. This
We
game
went
was
on a
on a
Monday.
Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
It is the new one for me. It is from Golden Road Brewery, and it's called Mango Cart. And the only place that I've ever seen it was at the ballpark, but I do see that they sell it in other spots. But if you like flavored beer, which most of the time IPAs do it, and they're kind of bitter, this one is actually like a mango juice that's almost like a seltzer. It's really good beer, so you should try it. It's called Golden Road Mango Cart. I got to go with my next one, and this is going to get some conservatives mad, but I got to go with the Bud Light staple. That's actually the beer of
Bud
my
Light.
in-laws, so we always pack up and keep a whole bunch of them in the fridge.
So you got
S-
some
yeah,
yesterday.
it's some chilling. Well, I bought some more just in case they drink a lot, but we got some in the refrigerator chilling, waiting for them today. I have to go with Coors Light because if you were a Baltimore Gray or played a Baltimore Gray softball back in the 2010s to 2015, Coors Light sponsored us. They gave us money. We got
Wow.
shirts with Coors Light, banners with Coors Light. That's when we was Baltimore Gray
Yeah.
softball was it. So I got to go with Coors Light there. I'm going to get you. You thought this was number one, but I'm going Honey Brown being my
Oh,
yeah, Honey
Honey
Brown is
Brown is not at the top of the
Honey
list.
Brown is going to be number two for me, and that's only because.
Okay.
And now Honey Brown would have been number one, but they've now owned by Genesee Brewer Company. It's been some years now, and it's changed a little. It's still good, but it's changed slightly. But number one, that's why I asked if I could do a beer drink. I like to mix. And make my own shandy. You can buy shandy from I believe
Tell the
it's
people what a shandy is first.
well, a shandy is beer and lemonade mix. You can buy it. It's from Logenfeld. So,
Yeah, yeah.
There's
They
a couple
sell it
people that
somewhere.
sell it in the can,
Hmm.
but the lemonade is more of a non-sweet lemonade, so you get that bitter beer taste. I like to mix it myself with a sweeter lemonade and either a honey brown, a flavored beer, but sometimes
Hmm.
just a Bud Light if that's all I have. You put some ice in it, and it is a great, refreshing summer drink. I'm gonna
Drink.
tell you, I discovered it when I was 16 in Barbados on a youth exchange trip because there's no drinking age,
When
or
you
at
were
the time, there was
16.
no drinking age in Barbados. And of course, we got the speech when we got there from our what do you call them?
Yeah, your chaperone. Where
Our
was your
chaperones. They were
chaperone?
like, y'all gonna follow the American rules. Man, we was in them people's houses. We were exchange students. We were in them people's houses. They were serving us pina coladas and shandies, and we were like, oh yeah, we were lit up. Kids, do not drink underage. I'm not promoting underage drinking unless you're in the land of Rihanna. Rihanna wasn't even born then, so you know.
Right. I
But
grabbed the
that
beer, but not in the ride because I'm not stupid. I don't drink and drive. And so Calvin is in foreign countries, y'all, drinking shandies.
hey, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Barbados, do as the Bajans do, man. Do
There
as
you
the
go.
I don't even know if they say, man. I can't remember. They also have some great flying fish down there. Honorable mention to Michelob Ultra because that is one of my favorite beers. Also,
Make a little ultra. You know what? You talk. I'm learning something new because I've never had a shandy in my life.
get some ice, get you a beer, and get some
Uh-huh.
lemonade. Pour it
Okay.
in there, mix it up.
Okay.
I'm telling you, you'll love it.
All
You will
right. All
love it.
right. I'm gonna have to do
I
it.
do
I'm gonna
about a
have to do it.
50-50 ratio also.
Okay.
Now, I will tell you, if you don't mix it, you're gonna get either mostly lemonade or mostly beer. So you're gonna have to mix it unless you don't mind. I don't mind sometimes with the beer it's heavier, so it'll sit on the bottom and it
Mm-hmm.
almost look like a black and tan, and then it'll mix itself up when you start drinking it. But you'll until you get that beer mixed with the lemonade, you don't get the full effect of
Okay. All right. Junior Samaye with his top five beers. All
it.
right. Let me run through my list real quick. I'm gonna start off that got me through college. Miller Genuine Draft, MGD baby. When I was down in college in Hampton, Virginia, for those who went to college or lived in Virginia, you know you have alcohol beverage control stores or ABC stores, and in the ABC store they sell the harder liquors. Like the vodkas, the bourbons, all of those are sold by the state. They control that in the ABC store up in the north. Well, I mean, we're still in the South, but a little further north in Maryland, you have cut rate stores and they sell everything. But you can buy beer in the grocery store. You can buy beer anywhere, 7-Elevens, grocery stores, corner stores, whatever, in Virginia. And so that made the beer a little bit cheaper. And so in college, you were always looking for volume. Could we get a case of beer for $6? And at that time, Miller Genuine Draft was on sale for $6 a case. And so
Wow.
if we had $6, everybody got a case, and we tried to drink that case in one sitting. And so Miller Genuine Draft, yeah, man, that was some high. We thought we were living high on the hog then back then, drinking that MGD baby. Number two, well, my fourth favorite beer is Stella Artois. I
Okay.
love a good
Okay.
Stella. Yeah, I keep Stella in the home. Nice green bottle. I love the taste. That's kind of my foreign beer. It's it's exotic in terms for me in terms of taste. I like Stella, and I buy Stella so much. I got two Stella glasses. You know, you got a glass that you can use for the beer, yeah, and so I got a couple of Stella glasses. Number three for me is a local beer, is an IPA. My next two beers are IPAs. Is the Goat IPA. Ed Reed. There's a local brew house, Union Craft Brewery. As a matter of fact,
Hmm.
they have a brew house that's right on I-83 in the Hamden neighborhood, and they brew a beer dedicated to Ed Reed. It's called Goat IPA. Man, you know, it's got a nice strong taste to it, nice head to it. Ed Reed's face is on the can. It's about, you know, a little about $8 or $9 a six pack. Some good stuff. And so you may want to try that Goat IPA. My number two beer is another IPA from Union Craft. This one is called Steady Eddie, and this one is dedicated to Eddie Murray,
Hmm.
former first baseman of the Baltimore Orioles. Another, this one's a little lighter, not as heavy, not as hoppy, but still a good taste. And Eddie Murray's face is on the can. And so, if you're a sports guy and you love, you know, you want to see you drink with your sports legends, you can get the Goat IPA or you can get the Steady Eddie, both by Union Craft. And my number one beer is also locally brewed. It's brewed by a Brewer's Art, and it's called Resurrection. Now,
Okay.
Resurrection, have you ever had Resurrection?
I have not. We have a lot of the IPAs at the job, and
Okay.
I don't think I've had Resurrection yet.
Yeah, they
Actually,
have
yes, I
a
have. Yes, I have.
yeah.
Yes, I
Okay,
have.
yeah, they have a restaurant that's on Charles Street on
Hmm.
North Charles Street, and they brew several beers. And Resurrection is a brown ale. It's kind of dark. It's 7% alcohol content. It's a little strong, but man, it goes down pretty good, and it's nice and tasty and stuff. A nice cold Brewer's Art Resurrection. You know, it's a little artsy beer. It's a little snobby. You know, you drink it in a little glass and what have you. You know, and so it's not a necessarily a common man's beer, but you can buy it in local stores now. So they do can it, and so if you're looking for something that's a little heavier, I know it's summer, you might not want something heavy, but maybe in the fall or maybe in the winter, you're looking for something a little heavier. Go ahead and try Brewers Art Resurrection. And so again, that's Miller's Genuine Draft, Stella Artois, Goat IPA, Steady Eddie IPA, and Brewers Art Resurrection.
For those of you that don't know, and I'm sure everyone listening probably knows, we have a Guinness Brewery here in Baltimore. Um,
Yeah,
Great
the
spot to
blonde. I
go
love the
to.
blonde. The blonde
They
ale
also
as
have
well.
they have a beer there that's I think I told you last week. They serve it in like a not a martini glass. I don't know what you call the glass, but it's kind of one of
Mm-hmm.
the smaller stout flutes, and it's mixed with an alcohol. It's mixed with like
Oh
brandy or
wow.
something, and it's actually pretty good. If you get a chance here in Baltimore, there's a lot of local ones. Union Station is one. I think they also make duck pin.
Yeah, they make
If you
duck
go to
pen.
Union
Mm-hmm.
Station, they all have these layouts that you can
Mm-hmm.
just go and relax and just chill out. And of course, you can get flights and just try them out. But Baltimore is a very good place to get a lot of local IPAs.
Yeah,
And
you
if
got
you ever,
Flying Dog that's in
yeah,
Frederick.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, you can go to any affairs or festivals; they're always going to be there. So definitely look them up. Take some time out to enjoy
Yeah.
your city, and
Yeah, and I
these are
live in
it's one of
Harford
the places.
County. There's a lot of great ones out here that I've been to as well, and all that that brewing on their farms. So yeah, man, you know, get a good beer. You know, not something heavy. I'm gonna
Get
try
you
that
one.
shandy a little later on today.
Just stay away from Miller High Life. I'm not a big.
You're
I'm not
not
a
a big
big.
Miller High Life.
So I like Miller High Life, but I'm not a big fan of they're not beers, they're malt liquors. I'm not a big fan of malt liquors. I
Bro.
used to be St. Ides and um well private stock was a that private stock was a malt liquor
Bull.
back in the day. I used to
Uh,
be a fan of them because they get you drunk
bro.
real quick, but they're just not good for you. Get
I'm
you a
gonna tell
beer.
you, beer was my first alcohol. Then we're gonna go into the next sports. I promise y'all, we're gonna get back to sports. But um, when I went to college, I really did not know the difference between malt liquor and beer, and so a lot of the stuff that we were getting early in our freshman year was malt liquor.
Hmm.
Bro, people was getting sick. People
Hmm.
was all yes. After a while, I was like, all right, y'all, no more of this malt liquor. I don't care if Billy D's
Exactly.
advertising it or not. I don't want
Exactly.
it.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you.
Well,
It will
it
fuck
fooled you.
you up.
Yes, it was fooling a lot of people. Hey man, Bronny James, the oldest son of Los Angeles Lakers star LeBron James, is home recovering after suffering a cardiac arrest event on Monday. James, who's 18, is entering his freshman year at USC, and he's ranked 20th in the 2023 ESPN Top 100 rankings. He's the sixth rated point guard in the class as well. It's the second straight year that the Trojans program has had a player suffer cardiac arrest. Center Vincent Ikawuchu suffered cardiac arrest on July 1st of last year and was hospitalized for a few days. He returned to play for USC in January of this year and appeared in 14 games. James was set to begin his collegiate career overseas as USC's men's basketball team was preparing to leave next week for an exhibition tour in Croatia and Greece. And so, has Bronny's career ended before it started? And what does this do to LeBron's plan to play at least one more or two more seasons to play with his son?
One of the things that we always seem to forget is that these are real people, sports
Right.
stars, their families, any type of entertainers. These are real people that we see on TV, and sometimes real things happen to real people. Being that young and having cardiac arrest has to be probably the scariest thing, not just for him, but for his family. Garland and I discussed this earlier this week a little bit, and you know, and not to get all religious or but I think this might be one of those, hey, I'm giving you your out right now, and not the out because of his health, but you have to feel some immense pressure being the son of LeBron James. Now, it doesn't seem like the family puts any pressure on him. It doesn't seem like the media really puts any pressure on him. But what kind of pressure does he feel from himself for himself? You're
Mm-hmm.
the oldest kid, and you're the first one. Now you're in college, and your dad's saying he would love to play with you in the NBA, and you know what I mean. Like, there's got to be
It's a
a
lot.
whole lot of pressure, and this may be someone saying, "Hey, Bronny, this is your out. Take this." And do something else with it. Get this stress off yourself, get this pressure off yourself. Of course, I don't know, but it's just you just never know. And if you also notice with this, usually when something like this happens, there's so much coverage on it. The coverage has been kind
Right.
of,
Right.
yeah, it's been
Very
limited.
muted.
Yeah, it's been very limited. So I think he should take the opportunity to pursue something else, and not necessarily out of sports, but maybe not as a player. Maybe you can pursue some front office, anything. Your dad is LeBron James. He can absolutely
Right.
help you. Look at his friends. He's gotten them all. Maybe that can help you. And I mean, you actually don't have to do nothing if you're Bronny James, but you know what I mean. I'm hoping that he's, first of all, it's definitely hoping that his health. But this could be the out. I don't know, what kind of pressure he's on, but this could be someone saying, "Hey, here's your out. You can take this and pursue
Mm-hmm.
something else." As far as LeBron James goes, I think this gives him the opportunity to rethink about his career. I think he has 1 year left on this contract. This
Right.
may be his final year. He's always talked about he's going to try to wait to Bronny, so we were like looking at 2 more years. He may look at this last year, the contract, and be gone. You never know. He may. No one thinks he's going to retire being swept by the Denver Nuggets, but you never know. This is one of them things. FOE, family over everything. He may be like, you know what? I may have to walk away from this last year. I don't think so, but I would be shocked if he wanted to go for another year playing basketball.
You know, that's interesting. And I shared with Calvin, I thought that was an interesting take of him. This was an out for Bronny. I think I hope whatever it is, they really do as much screening and as much testing and really looking at his body and his heart before coming back. Yes, this young man came back last year. That it happened to as well, and he wound up playing 14 games. I'm concerned about his health because yes, he's LeBron James' son. I'm sure Uncle Rich Paul and Uncle Maverick Carter can find him something to do. These are three men that basically are you know leading the new media, the new sports agency stuff, all those things. And so yes, he has a wealth of opportunities ahead of him that are non-basketball related. He does decide to come back to the court, I hope it's done smartly. I hope it's not done without, you know, really the strong advisement of professionals and all those things. I think of Reggie Lewis here,
Yes.
that was a local basketball player. He was like a seventh man on that Dunbar team, that mythical Dunbar team, and then went to Northeastern University and became a standout there, and then went to the Celtics and had several great years. And he died of a cardiac arrest on the court. I think he was practicing. It was during the off season,
And that was his
and
second one. That
that
was his
was his
second.
second one. And so, I hope, and of course, we know Hank Gathers as well. Both of those men had heart conditions, and they decided to keep playing. I hope that whatever Bronny's diagnosed with, if it's something that serious, I want you to go ahead and walk away from it. And I want you to take advantage of those non-basketball related opportunities that you would have. If it's something that you can work through and you could possibly come back, then more power to him. But I hope he errs on the side of caution. In terms of the impact on LeBron, I definitely think, maybe this might be LeBron's last year, because, that's all he had been saying for the last 3 years, is that his goal was he wanted to extend his play, to have an opportunity to play with his son. Because trust me, if Bronny played this year, he was going to be a one and done. There's no way he was doing 2 years of
Absolutely.
college. And so, LeBron would have probably played at least another 2 years, possibly three, because of his son. But with this here, I think that definitely changes the equation. Now, if it's just decided, hey, this is just not for you, son. You had your run. It's over. Then, yeah, I think, we're going to start. He's going to face those questions when training camp comes around. Is this going to be your last year? Because your goal was to play with your son. Doesn't appear that your son's going to be playing at least within the next year and some
Right.
change. Does that mean you have another 2 years in your body to do it? You see. And so this prayers up for Bronny. I hope he recovers fully. I hope he makes the right decisions in terms of what his future is on the court. And we'll see how that has an impact on the greatest player of this generation and what he does with his future as well.
LeBron gonna wait for Zuri to he gonna wait for Zuri to get herself together and play. He gonna
Well,
go into
you
the
got the other son who they say is really the
yeah. They
beast.
said Bryce is good. They
Yeah,
said
they
Bryce
say
is good.
Bryce is really the one. Bryce has the physical body of his father, and they said the Bryce is really the one that they're looking at because he's kind of peaking early, and so we'll see.
But that's I think you got to wait another 3 years
Yeah,
for
I mean, I
Bryce.
think he's only a sophomore in
Yeah,
high school.
you gotta wait
Yeah,
another
so
3 or 4 years for Bryce. But I mean, you might as well just wait for Zuri. Zuri can be the first woman in the NBA, or we can get LeBron a man and he can dress like a woman and play in the WNBA with Zuri.
Bronner man.
LeBron a man.
Y'all. Anyway, and I forgot to get on Calvin. I'll get on him at the end. I might have to make this my come on, yo. But never mind. I'm gonna keep on going. All right, let's talk NBA. Jaylen Brown, he got a bag, and so Boston star Jaylen Brown has agreed to sign the richest deal in NBA history, a 5-year supermax extension worth up to $303.7 million. Brown averaged career best of 26.6 points per game and 49% shooting last season. He will make 31.8 million next season in the final year of his previous deal, and he is slated to make 52.3 when the contract kicks in during the 24-25 season. And so, is this money well spent by the Celtics?
Listen, let me okay. We were told a couple weeks ago forget all them stats and stuff. And this is one of them times where you
Bro,
forget the stats.
I had to throw out the numbers. I had to
No,
throw
no,
out the
no, no.
numbers.
Your numbers are
Yeah,
fine, but I'm talking about like where he ranks in the NBA and all
yeah.
this and that.
I'm sorry,
Listen,
fanboy nation fan.
but
I had to
nah,
throw out the. I had to
I'm
throw out
just saying for me, he don't pass the max deal eye test. Come on. And first of all, they should have traded him. And they was talking about trading him. Like, somebody has to get the money. So one of the things about the NBA now and the way the contracts are structured is someone has to get it. On your team, someone's got to get it. We saw that with Bruce Brown with the Indiana Pacers. He's the highest paid player on the team. Someone's got to get the money. Now, not that Jaylen Brown isn't a good player. He is a good player.
very good player.
But is he the best player on the team? Isn't he one of the reasons why they did not win the finals? Like I'm kind of
They didn't win the finals that year because of Steph Curry.
isn't he one of the reasons why they couldn't get past the Heat? I'm kind of
Yeah, he kind of had a rough playoff. He
I
couldn't
just
dribble
I
some of
I'm
the games.
just and if you notice with contracts, so most of us look at contracts for what the player has done.
Right.
Contracts are really for what the player is supposed to do. I just don't see him being worth that kind of money. But again, someone has to get it, and he is the number 2 player on that team. I don't think he's worth all that. But again, someone has to get it.
It's definitely what the market dictates. I think yes, he is the second best player on that team. He had a great regular season, and unfortunately, that did not convert over to the final series of the playoffs because he did play well in the playoffs leading up to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they just really ran into a super hot team. I mean, that Heat team, you had guys who are never going to shoot like that again in life.
That's true.
And they got
That's
some
true.
big contracts after that. As a matter of fact, one of them is going to be playing on your Lakers. And so, yeah, it was just a bad run at the end, but I think it's justified. I mean, he is an option on any other team. He's a number one option. He's a number one player, and so 52.3 million. Yeah, he worth
just
it.
I just don't see it,
it
sir.
keeps it keeps a young core together with Tatum, and they have to build around that. And so we're going to see what happens. They got Porzingis,
Just,
and we'll see what happens. We'll
who,
see what
by the
happens.
way, I think is going to make a difference. Garland doesn't think Porzingis is going to make a difference with the
Porzingis
Celtics.
ain't made a difference
He's
ever.
gonna he's gonna make it. He doesn't have to be the number 1 or 2 guy. Doesn't really have to be the number 3 guy. They did get
No.
rid of Marcus Smart though.
This,
Um,
this is just like when Bradley Beal. We always have this debate about Brad Beal, and I'm like, Brad Beal, he's not a mop, but he's mop-ish.
he's not moppish.
he's
He
not, but
just
he's
should
mop.
not have been the number 1 guy. He should not have been the number 1 guy.
Hey, and John Wall told us that, but we thought John Wall was hating, and so the NBA approves the sale of the Charlotte Hornets. Michael Jordan's official watch as NBA owner ended this week as the Board of Governors approved the sale of the Hornets. Jordan brought a majority stake of the team for $275 million in 2010, and he made approximately $3 billion in the deal. Now, during his time in Charlotte, the franchise never finished higher than sixth in the Eastern Conference, and they had zero playoff series wins. Twice in the history of the NBA has a team been owned by a black man, and surprisingly, it's both been in Charlotte with Bob Johnson, who was the founder of BET. He was the owner of the Charlotte Bobcats, and Michael Jordan, who owned the Hornets. Now, we don't have a single majority owner who is black among the three prominent sports leagues in America. And so, what are just your overall thoughts of Mike, a owner, as an exec?
I mean, talk about house flipping. He done flipped that 275 to 3 billion. Him and Dan Snyder are making out
He
like
took
fat
3 and
rats.
flipped it to 10.
Hey, listen, somewhere Michael Jordan was heard saying, fuck them Hornets. Like,
Right.
because he did not say fuck them kids, Garland. Garland
He
swears that
did.
Michael Jordan.
He did. He said it all his life.
Hey man, but listen, rumor has it that Michael Jordan was in debt. And there was I saw an article of a breakdown of how he was in debt,
Was
and it
he in
made a
debt
lot
for
of
wearing those
sense.
baggy jeans that we always see him in pictures of? He still wears
First,
baggy jeans like it's
first
19,
of all,
like he had crisscross, like it's 1990.
First of all, I don't know why you're messing with his Bill Blast. You know what I mean? He had the Bill Blast with the little leather on the front of.
It's the slim cut, Mike.
He, they were baggy,
it's the
and
sacred leg, Mike.
he was wearing the snake skins, the black snake skins with it, like,
He took
and
the cut jeans on,
and the Kango going backwards with the mock turtleneck, like he
yeah,
was.
I know you're a billionaire, but bro, get your
Hey,
stylist, get your jean game up.
he listened to Kenny Lattimore, so you know.
Right.
He-
Yeah. I got the new Kenny Lattimore. Like, what? The new Kenny Lattimore's got you like this?
Then Kenny Lattimore had him in the chokehold, son. He was singing "For You" to Michael Jackson.
Right.
For you, I'll give a lifetime of baggy jeans.
Bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you doing, Mike? He
Yeah.
had him in. You thought he was listening to Kendrick or something. Drake.
Listen, and the thing is, I've listened to Kenny Lattimore, and there is no song that had me bopping like this. I was trying to. You try to overlay the music with Michael Jordan's head bouncing, it just ain't come out right. He telling them, "Hey, come listen to this. It's Kenny Lattimore." B.J. Armstrong is like, "The fuck."
Why are you bobbing your head like this?
Hey man, but no, so they were talking about his debt, and they said something about how Michael Jordan would leverage his stake in the team with some gambling debts or some investments that he would lose out. So what happens is, although he still worth so much money, he owes so much money, and with the team not being as successful, his assets start to decrease. You know what I mean? Something, whatever they said, it was making sense, and it made a lot of sense for him to sell the team. And
rich to the eye, but not on paper.
Right. But the thing is, you can sell the team and still be minority owner and have $3 billion in the bank. I mean, I think he made out.
Bad deal.
Not a bad deal at all.
He was not the Mike Jordan of owning, but he definitely. You caught that reference. He was not the Mike Jordan of owning, but he definitely was the Mike Jordan of the court. One of he's arguably the greatest player to ever play the game, and it's crazy because Mike actually was supposed to get the Wizards, your favorite team, and
Lakers fan with Wizard tendencies.
Wizards, and he was supposed to get the Wizards, but Abe Poland shut him down. I think that's the only person who's ever been able to stop Michael Jordan.
Ran him out of DC. Ran his ass out of DC.
Mike said, "I'm gonna come back, help boost up attendance to get my money up for my little ownership stake, because you gonna get it to me when it's over." And he came and said, "All right, I'm ready." He's like, "I ain't never tell you that." Did you say that? Mike was like, "What? I never tell you I was giving you this, boy. I gave this to my daughter."
Mike almost burned his clothes and his car. He almost did a waiting to exhale on. He almost did a waiting to exhale on Abe Poland. Abe was like, "You want to own this team? Because I don't think my daughter should have to wait to own the team." Almost got him.
Oh yeah, and so with that, we're gonna talk about the top 5 former players that became coaches or GMs. And so
let me pull my list out.
Pull your list up. So I'll go first. Number 1, Bill Russell, Celtics. first black head coach in professional sports, and he won 2 titles as a player coach. That's crazy. We'll never see another player coach again ever. There was talk about maybe LeBron could be a player coach.
He
That would be
already is.
interesting. He
According
is.
to
I mean,
Garland, he already is.
he's a player GM, pretty much. And he might as well just go ahead and coach as well. Maybe that's the next thing to keep LeBron around. Maybe they will let him get rid of Darvin Ham if they don't win next year. Let him go ahead and be the player coach. That would be interesting. But anyway, Bill Russell, first black head coach in professional sports, and he won 2 titles. Phil Jackson, can't deny it. Most NBA titles by a head coach, 11. He was a player on the Knicks as well. If you did not know that, Spike Lee talks terrible about him. If you want to know more about Phil Jackson as a player on the Knicks, watch what was the movie about him growing up? Brooklyn. Is him and his sister growing up in Brooklyn and little brother. They all lived in
Crooklyn.
Thank you, Crooklyn. And they're watching a NBA game between the Knicks and the then Washington, where they were the Baltimore Bullets. And he was like, "Man, why they put Phil Jackson in? He's a bum." That's what one of the characters say in the movie. And so, yes, Phil Jackson was like a 6th, 7th man on those storied Knicks teams. Number 3, Pat Riley. We can't forget the Godfather. He played for the Lakers. He won a title as a player. He won 4 titles as a head coach, and he's won 1 title as a GM and head coach. He's actually won 2 as a GM for the Heat and 1 as a head coach for the Heat. And so Pat Riley, we had to put him up there. This is a sleeper. I might be reaching on this one, but I'm old enough to remember. I didn't see him play, but I remember him as a coach. Lenny Wilkens.
Okay.
Lenny Wilkens was one of the best small men to ever play the game, and he coached the most games in NBA history. He won an NBA title with the Seattle Supersonics. They beat the last good Washington Bullets team way back in the 70s. And he was an influential coach. And Steve Kerr, you got to give it to him. 4-time NBA champion as a coach, and at least 5 rings as a player with the Spurs and with the Bulls.
Yeah, man, you've actually. So I was wondering if we were going to talk about current GM or coaches or just in general. So, and you've actually taken 3 of my 5, which was Kerr, Pat Riley, and Phil Jackson. Okay. You obviously had to have them 3, with the exception of you got to give Phil Jackson take him out of that Knicks GM role. If you take him out of that Knicks GM role, because that brings him down some points.
All about that.
Yeah, that brings him down some points. Which
was he the GM when Linsanity, or was that Isaiah? I think Isaiah might have been.
It might have been Isaiah. Well, Phil Jackson was famous for not really wanting Carmelo on the team, moving Carmelo off the team. So, which in my mind would be Steve Kerr is the number 1 former player coach, now coach. But let me give you some others. I'm surprised you didn't mention Larry Bird. Larry Bird went to the Pacers. He coached, took him to the playoffs. Then he said, and Larry Bird, just like in his career, Larry Bird said, "Hey, I'm gonna only do this for a certain amount of years. Then I'm gonna jump to the front office." And Larry Bird did that and was successful at doing both of them. And I mean, you can say he did not go out on top because they don't have any rings, but he went out on top. The Pacers were definitely, I think he's the reason Rick Carlisle got his shot with the Pacers. Definitely stay there.
Former teammate.
Yep. Elton Brand with the Sixers. He's one of the.
You gotta give him some respect.
Yeah, he's one of the better GMs in Philadelphia. Again, they don't have any titles, but he's made them relevant since he's been there. I had a hard time with this one of Larry Bird's teammates, but you got to give him some credit. He's out in Utah now. But Danny Ainge, Danny Ainge actually did his thing in Boston. He's in Utah now, and they make some strange moves out there, but they seem to be contenders every year. So they're somehow contending every year.
Drafted Jaylen Brown and Tatum. Jason Tatum, basically the foundation of that team was built under his leadership while he was and he had the big 3 with KG, Jesus Shuttlesworth, and
Now because you took my other three, these other two may be a reach, but I put a list. I figured we would have some of the same people, but let me give you this one. Ty Lue. You got to give Ty Lue credit because Ty Lue went into Cleveland and made LeBron a champion.
Okay.
Gotta get Ty Lue some credit. Now remember, it might be a reach, but you took my other guys, man. I got to throw somebody.
All right,
So I'm gonna give Ty Lue some credit. My last one. And although after basketball and after his GM career, everything didn't go so smoothly, but give me Kevin Johnson, that was out there with Phoenix when he was GM. You remember Kevin Johnson was GM.
He was mayor of Sacramento for
that didn't that didn't end quite well for him, you know what I mean? But give me Kevin Johnson there. I had a couple people. There's so many people you can pick from. You got the Mike D'Antonis, you got Jason Kidds, you got so many people. You got Ume Udoka. You got a whole bunch of these guys that were former players. Now, one of the things I've always believed, and this is why I would never mention Magic, and this is why I don't think Magic was as successful as a coach. This is always a belief of mine. Those players that are really, really good, it comes naturally to them. So they don't make good coaches because they don't know how to really develop the talent. You got some exceptions, but they don't know how to develop their players on the bench because for them it comes naturally. So they figure it should come naturally to everybody, but it doesn't. You get these players that are decent or maybe below average. When they become coaches, they know how to, you got to work at this, you got to work at that. They know how to look at everything because it's not natural to them. So they become usually the better coaches. Now, again, your exception is like a Larry Bird. Larry Bird was just a good coach. But for the most part, that's just my belief how that works.
Right. I agree with you. Yeah, it's definitely a different time, a different development of player and stuff like that. So, all right, so that's our top 5 former players that became either coaches or GMs. And so let's move into the NFL. Justin Herbert signed, he got a bag, y'all. They're giving out bags in professional sports, and so he signs a big deal with the Chargers. The Los Angeles Angels of the NFL, the LA Chargers, they agreed to terms on a 5-year, $262.5 million contract extension with Herbert. The deal keeps him under contract in LA through the 2029 season, and it includes a no-trade clause, $133.7 million in full guarantees, and $193.7 million in injury guarantees. The deal makes him the highest-paid quarterback in NFL history based on average annual value, which is $52.5 million in 3 seasons. Herbert has an overall record of 25-24 with 1 playoff loss. And so, with no playoff wins in his career, Calvin, why did Herbert get than Lamar Jackson?
That's what I want to know. I mean, Lamar, when Lamar was trying to get his money, it was like, well, you only got 1 playoff win and this and that. Justin Herbert don't have any. Like, he has none. Justin Herbert lost to David Carr in the playoff, if I remember correctly. Right. And David Carr ain't even with the Vegas Raiders anymore. I mean,
he's taken that team to 3 playoff appearances. He's won more games.
Unanimous MVP. Years. I think he's 1-0 head-to-head against Justin Herbert. And they actually beat their ass when they came to Baltimore 2 years ago. They beat their ass.
And so I'm trying to, man. I guess it's a thing. The market's funny. The market's funny. Because for me, if I'm looking at the numbers, like everybody was looking at the numbers for Lamar. Outside of this guy, yes, he's a great passer. He has a great spin on the ball, but that team has not performed at any level that a guy who everyone's deemed as a running back, who's one of the most accurate passers in NFL history, who's won a ton of games, this guy had the biggest playoff collapse last year in the game with the Chargers against the Jaguars. So
and this guy doesn't have Keenan Allen or Austin Eckler with him. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, but Yeah, let's give Herbert more money than Lamar Jackson without the controversy. Like, I'm not even mad about the money because that's how things happen. And then what's going to happen after this is Joe Burrow is going to get his money and he's going to get more than Justin Herbert. And that's how it's supposed to work. So I'm not even mad that he's getting more. It's just the fact that he's getting more and y'all ain't said nothing.
None.
Y'all ain't said a word. Y'all were killing Lamar for wanting more money or at least close to the money that Deshaun was making. Y'all were killing Lamar for thinking that he was going to be better than Jalen Hurts and getting that kind of money. Y'all were killing him. Herbert come just slide right in with no playoff wins, get his little money, and y'all cool. Y'all good with that? Y'all good with that?
That's that they must be.
Y'all good with
Right
that?
win and slid right in and got that contract. So I ain't mad at it.
Keep that same energy that you had for Lamar. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm saying.
Keep that same energy.
He's basically a 500 quarterback. And he's 25 and 24. He's basically a 500 quarterback.
They're an underachieving team. Now, the eye test tells you that Justin Herbert is a very good quarterback. No one is denying that. When it comes to fantasy teams, if I see him available, I take him because he's gonna give me. He definitely gonna get you some points. But come on now, y'all kill me with that. Y'all kill me with that. Now
he's the Karl Malone of the NFL.
The only it's forever for Karl Malone.
He's not molesting little girls. So go ahead.
The only thing that I will say when you talk about Justin Herbert compared to Lamar Jackson, the only outrage that I will accept is that Justin did not hold the team hostage. Now, Lamar did hold the Ravens and us fans hostage. He had to do what he had to do, and I'm not mad at him about that. But I want to make the argument that Justin didn't hold him hostage and Lamar did. You can, but then you also got to look at the front office and say, well, that's because San Diego didn't make him hold him hostage, and Baltimore did make Lamar hold his hostage. So, But I'm not.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to deny the money that Herbert's making. I just want y'all to keep that same energy that y'all did with Lamar.
And we saw Joe Herbert. He was doing. I said Joe Herbert. Oh my God, Joe
Burrow.
He was doing the stanky leg the other day, but he's gonna be
okay. Life comes at you fast, Cincinnati.
Yeah. Running backs are still big mad, Calvin. Running back Saquon Barkley signed with the Giants last week. The deal is a 1-year adjusted franchise tag worth $10.1 million, fully guaranteed, and up to $11 million with incentives. The tag adjusted to add $2 million signing bonus as well as the incentives. And the deal does not include a no franchise tag clause, meaning the Giants can tag him again after this season. And so last week we talked about this, how the running backs were big mad. They, but basically, I believe it was Nick Chubb who said it, the running back from Cleveland, that they really don't have any leverage. There's nothing they really can do. This is the market. And so did Saquon sell out his brother running backs by taking this deal?
So it's really hard to say that they sold out because the CBA was signed and the CBA doesn't get renegotiated till what, 29 or something like that. Like they knew going into this little meeting they had, this little semi Zoom coup that they had, running back coup that they had, they knew there was nothing that they could do. It's like, why? So I guess they were all in the meeting just to show solidarity. So I don't know if he sold out because they pretty much knew what was going to happen. The only thing that I think he messed up on is if you want to negotiate, you should have negotiated where they could not franchise tag you anymore. Like then you might go through the whole thing again. Like, I don't understand. But
that's the only disappointing part.
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't think he sold out. Like it was, he didn't have, like they said, he didn't have much leverage at all. Le'Veon Bell showed us that sitting out a full year doesn't work. Even Le'Veon comes back and says, I should not have done that. Like it's just going to hurt you in the long run. What they need to do is for these future running backs, they need to, when they go to that CBA negotiation, they need to speak up for their position. They need to speak up as to why this franchise tag thing doesn't work for them. Or let's get something else with the running backs. And I'm sure there'll be other positions that will join in a fight like that. But no, I think he did what he had to do for Saquon Barkley, and for the New York Giants. So, you know.
Yeah, I agree. No leverage. Holding out with the franchise tag now, that's why they came up with it, does not give you leverage because they can come back and franchise you again the next year. And so sitting out doesn't necessarily get you. I remember earlier this year, that's what a whole bunch of people were saying. You heard a lot of the pundits saying this about Lamar. He should just go ahead and sit out. He should. There was no leverage for Lamar to sit out because they could franchise tag him and franchise tag him the next year. And so it really was no leverage there for him. And I agree the same thing with Saquon. I think he looked at it and say, hey, I want to play. I'm about to just go ahead, take this money, and we'll see what happens with me next season. And I don't think it hurts the other running backs. You heard some people, he sold out. He should, they did all of this and he went ahead and signed. Okay, he wants to get out on the field. He sees that he has a potential of his money making potential is stronger if he plays as opposed of if he sits out for an entire season.
And
The market
Saquon
the
isn't in
market
his
compressed.
rookie year.
Yeah,
Saquon is not in his rookie contract year. Nothing.
right,
Saquon is older, so
right.
sitting out a year could be detrimental to his career.
Right.
Like,
In a market that doesn't pay your position the amount of
exactly.
years that
Yeah.
you
So
need.
you got to take this year to prove that you're worth something. And then you fight to see if another team may want you or if you can get out of that franchise tag. But no, you can't sit out a year being his age. In running back years, he's what, 65,
Yeah,
66?
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's about to be put down. And so let's transition to college football. Your boy Jimmy Harbaugh, he's facing a 4-game ban. Michigan football head coach Jim Harbaugh and the NCAA is discussing a so-called negotiated resolution for a 4-game suspension starting the 2023 season, and it's tied to NCAA recruiting investigation into Michigan, in which Harbaugh faces a level 1 violation for not cooperating with NCAA enforcement. And the expectation is that he will miss the first 4 games of Michigan season. And this includes 4 home contests in which Michigan is the favorite against East Carolina, UNLV, Bowling Green, and Rutgers. And so I would say just John Harbaugh, go ahead and take those 4 games and just sit it out. And
Jim.
because y'all going the third stringers are going to score 52 on all of these teams. Just take coming back.
Jim, because you so quick to jump on John. You said John Harbaugh take them 4 games and sit out. John, we
I
need
did
you
say
in the
John.
yeah. You said
Okay,
John.
Jim, Jimmy. Yeah, because John Harbaugh, you
I was about to say
Jimmy.
you want Harvard to sit out 4 games.
Yeah, I want Harvard to sit out 4 games, but Jimmy, sit out those. Go ahead, just sit out those games. I mean, y'all gonna win those games going away. So just sit
It's
them out.
it's always something with Michigan and Jim Harbaugh though. It's
It
always
is.
something. Like you can never go into a season just shutting the fuck up and just it's always something with you, sir. Like, but the team has already said, yeah, even if he sits, we still gonna rally around him. Like they love him. They love him there. So I mean, I'm with you. Usually with the exception of maybe a game or two, usually your first 3 games mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
You'll be playing somebody
yeah,
like
tune ups.
Morgan State, yeah, you know what I mean, like somebody that you should beat going away. And like you said, the third string should not have any problem with it. So
Yeah, yeah. They should be all right. They should be all right. So we'll see what happens with Harbaugh at the start of the college football season. That's right around the corner. And so we're at the favorite part of the program that
wait,
everyone
hold
loves.
on, hold on, hold on, sir.
Yes.
You did not have this on the list, and I'm shocked you did not talk about Deion
Dion.
Sanders and Colorado
You know what?
leaving the
Let's go ahead and talk
Pac-12.
about it.
Isn't he your favorite coach? I thought.
First of all, I'm not going to be the man while he's down on one foot. Dion has been having surgery on his, it's documented. If you saw Dion's documentary last year, he's down to basically about 4 or 5 toes total this period. And so He had to have more surgery on it. So I was giving Dion time to recuperate. But I did see with big news, Colorado, they will be leaving after this season to go back to the Big 12. But to me, this was one of my concerns about Dion taking this job because I was like, all right, where's the Pac-10 going to be after USC and UCLA leave? And you go into a conference where it might not be anybody there, and they saw that, and now they're going back to the Big 12. But there ain't nobody in the Big 12 because Texas is gone, Texas A&M is gone, Nebraska is gone, and so I don't know. I don't know even if we're going to see Coach Prime on the field this year. Are
And
we going to see Coach Prime?
and just to be clear, I'm getting on Garland, but this has nothing to do with Dion. Dion has
Right.
no say in this whatsoever.
No,
This has
this is economics.
yeah,
This is what
absolutely
pays
has
Dion.
nothing to, yeah, absolutely
What
has
pays
nothing
Dion.
to do with Dion. I'm just messing with Garland. But yeah, I don't know. This conference realignment stuff is just so crazy. You have to really be into the NCAA to try to understand why they do these things. What's the benefit? What's the loss for the other teams? And you would think that, okay, so with some of these major teams leaving the conference, the lesser teams are going to be able to get more wins and this and that. But it doesn't work like that because now the money is leaving. When the bigger teams leave, the money leaves. So it doesn't put you in a better position because the school is not getting money. And the whole point, especially with college football, is that money. You get the players, you get the revenue, you get that money. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's pretty much a done deal that Colorado is leaving. I don't know how this benefits either team. I just know it's going to hurt the conference that they're going to leave. So
Yeah, I mean the thing is now with these super conferences, it's money. It's the team. So that's why you have these. That's why you have the Big Five, and that's why they form it. They're going after the TV money, and because the Pac-10 does not have a TV deal that's imminent, people are scrambling to go ahead and look to connect with conferences where this money, because they're signing these coaches for real big deals, and they got to deal with NIL. And although that TV money is just a part of making the program attractive, and so that's why you got the SEC and the Big Ten. They're basically the granddaddies of the Power Fives. You got every team in America, college wants to be a part of those two conferences, and then you got the ACC and whoever else is following that up for football at least. And so, yeah, it's an interesting time because we talked about this last week about NIL, and we were talking about one of the reasons why it's a mess right now is because the colleges don't want to pay. The colleges are basically hoarding the money. They just want all the money, but they don't want to pay the players. And this is just a prime example of that. This move is not because the conference is not competitive. This move is because simply we want the money.
long gone are the days of Big East basketball, which was huge, ACC
Right.
basketball, and long gone are those days. It's
Yeah.
it's really all about the football programs now. The football
Yeah.
programs
And
seem to be driving everything.
pretty much. And you got these. I mean, what connection does Texas or Oklahoma have to the SEC? None. But
Just like USC and UCLA going to
yeah,
the
to the
Big
Big Ten.
Ten,
They
like
have outside of playing them in the Rose Bowl, there's no geographic connection
none.
to the Big Ten, and so it's money. And yeah, and so we'll see what happens. With the Pac-10, it looks like the Pac-10 is in. If Oregon and Stanford jump up and they decide to leave as well, basically, the Pac-10 is going to cease as a conference because there's not going to be anybody worth being there for. And so let's go ahead and come on, yo. That was a little extra for y'all. And so normally that's on the Patreon thing that we do that you pay for those extra comments. And so this is a little extra. So last week Calvin started. I'll go ahead and start off. I'll come on, yo. And so come on, yo. All money ain't good money. Now, if you've been following the news lately, you've seen that the Saudi governments have been really trying to get into sports, and they've been basically getting into sports, just throwing their money around. And so, Saudi team Al Hilal made a record $332 million bid for Kylian Mbappe, who's a striker with PSG, a football team in Paris. He's the top player in football or soccer, as we call it here in America right now. As a matter of fact, he's the number one player over Messi. And the team confirmed the offer for the player, and they've given Al Hilal permission to have open negotiations directly with. But sources say that Mbappe is not interested in the offer, which would amount to a 1 year salary for him of $776 million. Okay, this chew on that. And so uh, this bid represents Saudi Arabia's, most ambitious move yet as part of a determined recruitment drive to lure the game's biggest players to the country. The moves are part of an effort by the Saudi Prince Mohammed bin Salam, to leverage the kingdom's oil wealth to provide new jobs and opportunities for Saudi Arabian youth. And so critics have dismissed this as sports washing and attempting to leverage professional sports in order to clean up the kingdom's image, as it remains one of the world's top executioners and is waging a years long war in Yemen. In addition, according to U.S. intelligence, Prince Mohammed ordered the killing and dismemberment of a Washington Post columnist, Jamal Khashoggi, in 2018. I know a lot of people, you would say $776 million is money you can't turn down. And I don't know if Mbappe is turning down this money because he considers it blood money. I'm not sure what his reasons are. Some are saying he's young, and to go to a country that's as conservative as Saudi Arabia, maybe his lifestyle would be affected. I don't know. But there has to become a point where all money is not good money. Um, we just can't keep throwing money at stuff and trying to make it better. And in American sports, we're starting to see that this money is starting to creep into the sports. They're going to be buying up teams. They've already brought into the Washington Wizards ownership group. Um, they've they have Live Golf. They're buying golfers. I'm sure pretty soon we're going to see majority ownership in baseball. We're going to see majority ownership in basketball, and it's all about throwing dirty money to clean up an image. And I think we have to get to a point where we have to start saying that all money is not good money. This money has blood on it. This money is dirty. This money has not been earned in a proper fashion. And it's akin to, you always see these movies of the principal mother who won't take money from her drug dealing son because it's dirty money. And I don't want that money. It's not right. Or, you might see it, or, hey, I'll go ahead and take it. If you ever seen um, Paid in Full, when Calvin was coming, and the guy's name was Calvin, by the way.
Yes, yes.
When Calvin was like, Miss Johnson, here, you take this. This is for the win. Miss Johnson ain't push it back, and they was living a good life. And so all money's not good money. And so we have to. I hope these players, I hope these organizations, I hope these people are not blinded by the billions of dollars that's coming into their pockets, and start making good ethical decisions. And so come on, yo, all money ain't good money.
There's going to be a faction of folks that will be like, Mbappe must have embopped his head to turn down that money. One of the other things that's a piece of that is it's only a 1 year deal, and the way this football throughout the country throughout the world works, is that you have to get permission to speak to these players, and if you want to transfer to another league. So, and apparently Mbappe wants to play for Real Madrid or something like that.
Yeah.
But there's fees. So what the Saudi government has said is that if you play with us for this 1 year, you can transfer there with no fees. So it's kind of almost giving him one step closer to what he wants, along with another close to $800 million, which in total they'll be paying $1 billion because they're paying the 300 something million to his PSG, I think it's called.
Yeah,
It's I guess for somebody like him who doesn't need the money, it's really easy to say no to. But you have to have some strong morals, because, sir, I do not know. You likened it to these movies and stuff we see where they turn down money because of morality, but that's money, hey, get your kids some clothes, go pay your rent, go buy some food. You know what I mean? That's
right.
that ain't $800 million. Like, it's,
That's how that don't work.
yeah, man. It's whoo. You have to have some strong morals, and someone has to take a stand, because as we've known in this country, politicians are always taking special interest money and doing what the special interest wants, as opposed to doing what the people want. And the Saudis are probably used to being able to pay politicians off.
Right.
So, it's real difficult.
Yeah. True.
My come on yo was about to be in politicians, but I'm gonna save that for another time. I'm gonna save that for another time, Mitch. I'm gonna save that for another time. You know how Mitch paused when he did the whole.
Pause.
I made Garland think I had a glitch. You know how Mitch paused when he did the whole trying to talk.
Pausing with you.
Anyway, let me go to something else. And I just found this out last week. And Garland is a part of this new movement also, because Garland had me dip in this new movement. Let me tell you something. I'm bald. And I save money being bald. Apparently, regular haircuts now are starting at $45 plus, and beard trims are $35 plus.
Yeah, yes, son.
I used to go to the barber shop and get a fade for $15 and tip them up to $20. When they started becoming $25 and stuff, I'm like, what the hell is this? And I used to go to the barber shop and you would just go in and be like, hey, you got some eye? No, I got you. You next. Not no more. I said, Garland, I need to get my beard trimmed. Garland was like, go see my boy Sundiata. So I'm thinking all I got to do is go in and be like, yo, you Sundiata? My man Garland sent me this and that. Garland was like, I was like, cool, where you at? Garland was like, well, he here, but let me send you the link. What the fuck? The link for what? He going to cut my hair through the phone? He was like, no, let me send you the link. So I log on. You got to log on. You got to sign up for the website.
He scheduled
and
through an app.
Then you got to schedule it through an app. But wait. This ain't like going on the Resi app and reserving a time at your favorite restaurant. You got to pay in advance on the app. You got to put a deposit down for the app. And then, come on, yo. Where Mr. Will at? Where he could just walk in and be like, you got me? Or I used to call my barber. They thought my barber was crazy because I used to go to this place called New Dimensions, and it was Pie, Nate, and Shorty. Pie used to cut my hair, and they thought they was crazy because they used to wash your hair, and you had to sign the list. You go in and sign the list, and you could leave. But if you come, you got to be there when your name is called. People be like, you got to sign the list. You can't just go in and point. Well, now you got to have a computer or a link on your cell phone to go. You got just what? What happened to the walk-ins? Don't nobody do walk-ins no more? You can't walk into a barbershop. You can't walk into a restaurant. And I blame Jaylen Rose for this. Come on, Jaylen. Jaylen Rose got these guys traveling with him. Jaylen Rose got on his podcast when it was Jalen and Jacoby, Long Live Jalen and Jacoby podcast. When he got on the podcast, he was like, yeah, I paid my barber like $100. $100. Do a happy ending come with that or something? Because $100 haircut? Listen, come on, yo. Y'all are getting too outrageous now with this. And I know we moving into that. But again, Garland does it. Garland go ahead and sign up and pay. Look at Garland. He got hair on top of his head and the beard. Garland probably paid about $75. I don't know what he paid, but
about to go in the app when I get off this phone call because I need to schedule at least a week out to get the best rate. Because as a matter of fact, my barber, His game,
That's right.
the
The
schedule through
rates
the
do
app,
change.
the rates change the closer. If you trying to go, say I'm trying to get the haircut tomorrow and I schedule today, I got to pay the top rate. And if I schedule at least a week out, then I'm not paying the top rate. I'm paying a lower rate because I'm pre-scheduled. Yeah,
It's a haircut. It's a guy's haircut.
yeah.
Who
This one day I came in the
who
barber
cares for the
shop.
walk-ins? Who's taking
Nobody.
care of the walk-ins?
You better cut it
Where can the
yourself. You better
walk-ins
go
go?
get them wall clippers at Walgreens or Walmart and handle yourself. Put that blade on there and go ahead and do yourself. But yeah, one day I walked in. He was like, "Yeah, man, because it used to be I would just tell him like, hey, man, Tuesdays, every other Tuesday is my day at this time." And then all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, I got so many customers, man. I'm going to the app. You're gonna have to schedule through the app." And I noticed through the app was like, okay, you can pay, you can prepay, or to reserve your spot, you had to put down a percentage to reserve your spot and what have you. Yeah, man, I was kind of like, oh man, this is it's definitely not going like you see your barber like, hey, yeah, this clock and I got somebody in front of you. That don't happen no more. When people come in, he'd be like, "Yo, download this app,
That's
and
just
it's gonna cost you a little grip. Ain't no more $20 cuts." My brother-in-law got indignant one time when I told him how much I paid for my haircut. He was like, "What? You pay?"
exactly.
I was
See,
like,
I can't.
"Bro, this is not 1985 no more. These barbers, they doing all this stuff. They rubbing your forehead. They popping your pimples. They you get a little spray up in here, and nah, bro.
I
And
would
they
just
listening
be.
to your problems.
I just need a haircut. I don't need a spa day. I do not need a spa day.
It's a mini spa days.
Just, you gotta
You get the
schedule
hot
it.
towel and all that stuff. Yeah, man.
What happened to Friday? You meet this girl and she like, yo, you want to go out tomorrow? Why don't you take me out tomorrow? Then you be like, all right, cool. Let me run to the barbershop real quick. You can't even do that no more.
No,
Who cares for the walk-ins? You remember you
no.
used to think people that cut their own hair was either cheap or crazy. They were innovators. They were innovators. They were like, yo, I like Mark said, I can't pay the fine. I can't pay the fine. Just, bro,
Yeah,
come
no
on,
more.
yo.
No
Come
more.
on, yo. We need to get back to the old days of barbershop. I know there's somebody's uncle out there. I know Mr. Will or Mr. Charlie is still out there somewhere teaching the young guy, boy, you can't be cutting like that. Come on over here, son. I know there's somebody sitting in their chair when somebody walk in. I got an open chair. You good? Who cutting? Anybody open? I know it's
They
somebody
scheduling through an app now. Mr.
there.
Charlie got an app.
Oh, you can't even get the conflict in the barbershops anymore. You used to go in and be like, yo, I was next. No, I had him
Right,
next.
right,
You can't
right.
even get that anymore. Where was
Man,
that?
I just came in before you did. You said,
Yeah, come on, yo.
son.
We technology is ruining the brotherhood. It's ruining the brotherhood. We turned it into a sorority and not a fraternity. Where's the
You
brotherhood?
you can walk in, and if you walk in, you're gonna get the bad barber. So just be prepared.
Well, I mean, sometimes you got to get the bad barber just to, you be like, yo, I just need it evened up all around. And bad barber should be able to do that. Can't always do it. We should be able to do it. So come
Oh.
on, yo. Who taking care of the walk-ins? Walk-ins need some love, yo. Hey, man, it's another great show. We had a lot to talk about. We went a little long today. It was a
We
lot going
did.
on
We
today.
did.
Yeah.
A
It
lot.
was good. We gave y'all a lot of information. Hey, just don't forget that the Shy is starting
Mm-hmm.
next
Another
week.
week.
Actually, next week.
Yep.
So we'll eventually start talking about that. I know Garland is taking some time away, so we're just going to recoup and regenerate, and then we'll come
Mm-hmm.
back.
I
So
should be
we'll
able to get at
definitely do.
least 1 or 2 shows in. So
Yeah, and then we'll do some more of these podcasts, of course, and we will be back. So make sure you join us on
yeah,
all the podcast platforms
we
if
ain't
you're
never
joining
gonna
us.
talk about Goliath, y'all. So just go ahead, don't watch it. We ain't never talk
Listen,
about
I'm gonna
Goliath.
watch Goliath. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna watch Goliath this week. I'm gonna watch. How many episodes is it? 3.
3.
I'm gonna watch all 3 episodes of Goliath this week, and next week we're gonna talk about Wilt Chamberlain and his 10,000 women that he slept with. Garland, yo, I got a grandson, I got in-laws, I got my own mother, I got a wife, I got a job, and then I like to sleep. I'm lazy sometimes, like, you know.
All right, y'all. This is the,
Hey,
you can watch all 3 episodes 6 times by now. I'm gonna say nothing.
we thank you all for joining us. Orioles won last night. Go O's. Hope we win today. We need to take this series against the Yankees. I thought the national game was Sunday night. Is it a Sunday night game?
Both. They've shown.
Oh, they got both of them
tonight.
I think they said it's the
Sunday is ESPN.
Their first national game since 2018. Their first ESPN national game since 2018. So definitely make sure you watch it. Ravens are coming back. So we about to get more into sports. Fantasy football is coming up. We might talk about that also. Right. So again, make sure you continue to join us. So hey, let me hit this outro here. And we had a good show again, Garland, man. Hey, thank you for joining us, everybody. All the podcast platforms and YouTube.
You have been listening to Fanboys, an all things black with Garland and Calvin production. Thank you for listening.
Man, I'm gonna have to cut this down because you keep yelling in my ear with these. Let me cut this down because you're so loud in my ear all the time. You have listened to Fanboys. Later, man.
All right, bro.